talk about Team USA and the roster because a social media post went out there and it's actually caused some controversy. While I'm like, really? This is controversial? This is the take? And then I saw some of the choices that some fans are making out there where you can tell there's blatant agenda involved.
When the Team USA social media post dropped, it wasn't just a ripple in the pond. It was a full-blown bombshell that immediately ignited a firestorm of controversy, transforming the entire online sports world into an absolute sewer of arguments and insults. Seriously, it was a post that dared to suggest a hypothetical starting five, and by putting Caitlin Clark's name front and center, it wasn't just sparking a friendly debate, it was declaring an outright war. Fans of Paige Bueckers were absolutely stunned. I mean, they erupted in a wave of outrage over the sheer audacity of this suggested lineup. You have to understand, this wasn't just a casual discussion among fans anymore. It became a furious declaration of loyalties. It set the stage for a clash that was truly unprecedented, a stunning display of raw fan passion that very few people saw coming. In an instant, the digital battle lines were drawn, leaving everyone scrambling to pick a side in the madness.
Of course, came out the other day. I did a couple of videos about it. We know Caitlin Clark finally going to emerge in a competitive setting in a training camp that they're going to have right here. Let me just give you the specifics. Indiana Fever superstar Caitlin Clark hinted that she would participate in Team USA basketball activities during the WNBA offseason, following the conclusion of her team's 2025 campaign. Initially, the thought was she was referring to USA basketball training camp in early March 2026, which is a precursor to the 2026 FIBA World Cup qualifying tournament.
The controversial So, let's get into the specifics. The graphic that caused all this chaos showcased a starting five that featured Caitlin Clark at point guard, playing alongside some serious talent: Jewel Lloyd, Jackie Young, Nneka Ogwumike, and Aaliyah Boston. Now, to be clear, this was not an official roster announcement. It was explicitly presented as a speculative projection. But let me tell you, its implications were immediate and absolutely seismic. The very idea of this particular lineup, with Clark in such a prominent, leading role, was enough to send powerful shockwaves through the entire WNBA fandom. Why? Because it directly challenged the established hierarchies and fan expectations. It was a direct confrontation to those who passionately believed that other, more experienced players were far more deserving of a crucial spot on Team USA. What seemed like an innocuous post became an instant lightning rod for deep-seated deriders and passionate disagreements that had been simmering for years.
Start on this team. I don't know how this is even a debate. This post got put up as a potential, starting five. All right, Caitlin Clark at point guard, Kaylee Copper, Jackie Young, Derica Hamby, and Aaliyah Boston, and then of course these are the reserves on the team, right? And my God, the Paige Bueckers supporters, of course. And I don't want to throw Angel supporters in this because I've seen a lot of actually put Angel and Caitlin on the court.
Immediately, and I mean the very second the post went live, the most vocal and intense backlash came roaring from the devoted supporters of Paige Bueckers. Their loyalty to their player runs incredibly deep. So the hypothetical omission of Bueckers from this starting five, especially in favor of her rival Clark, was met with just unbridled fury. The sentiment was crystal clear, and it was plastered all over the comment section: Paige over Caitlin. Thousands of comments flooded in, all demanding Bueckers' inclusion, aggressively questioning the legitimacy of the proposed lineup and outright dismissing the idea that Clark could even fit into that starting role. The sheer volume and the pure vehemence of the reaction from the Bueckers fanbase was genuinely stunning to watch. It exposed a fierce territorialism within the WNBA community that had been simmering just beneath the surface, and this post just made it boil over for everyone to see.
And I don't want to throw Angel supporters in this because I've seen a lot of actually put Angel and Caitlin on the court at the same time, but somehow this got labeled as rage bait. And I'm not sure how this is controversial, but here we go with some of the dumbass takes that came out of this, right? It's got over 200,000 views on it now. Paige, okay. Young, Copper, Cameron Brent, really? After being injured like that? Reese, suggesting...
But while the Bueckers fans absolutely dominated the initial wave of outrage, the debate quickly and predictably expanded to include other prominent fan bases. Supporters of Angel Reese, for example, surprisingly offered a much more nuanced perspective than the wholesale rejection we saw from the Bueckers camp. It was fascinating, really. Many of them actually proposed the idea of seeing Reese and Clark on the court together, which was a rare and unexpected moment of potential collaboration right in the middle of all the chaos. Yet, that initial post had cast such a wide net that it inevitably drew in countless other factions, each with their own passionate vision for what Team USA should look like. This broad, incredibly diverse reaction just underscored how deeply invested fans are in their favorite players, turning what could have been a simple graphic into a complex, interwoven web of loyalties and deeply held opinions, all clashing violently in the public arena of the comments section.
Caitlin Clark over Chelsea Gray in competitive basketball? Question mark. Some dude says, suggesting the veteran guard Chelsea Gray deserves a starting role over Caitlin Clark. Look, I've only been locked in for a couple of years. There's not a world where I'm starting Gray over Caitlin Clark. Not a galaxy far, far away. Nowhere. Caitlin Clark over Chelsea Gray in competitive basketball? Question mark. 127 times out of 10. Yeah, easy.
It didn't take long for the post to be swiftly labeled as rage bait by many observers, a charge that, while it might seem baffling to some, perfectly describes its undeniable impact. Think about it. With over 200,000 views in a short time, it undeniably provoked a massive, visceral, emotional response from the community. It was wildly successful at stoking the very fires of contention that were on full display. Now, whether it was intentionally designed to incite such a furious reaction or not is almost beside the point. The outcome was unmistakable. It tapped directly into pre-existing tensions, it fueled long-standing rivalries, and it turned what could have been a quiet speculative discussion into an incredibly loud, public spectacle. The term rage bait so aptly captured the palpable anger and frustration that boiled over, especially among the fans who felt that their preferred players had been unfairly and disrespectfully overlooked.
With her being injured and this and that and the other, you know, and I'm not talking about far as the poster goes. I mean, just literally having been put on the team right now, you know. Just a question, if Juju is still recovering from an ACL, how can she be part of this? Surely she can't play. Yes, she can attend, but if she takes to the floor, she surely risks serious injury. Well, they all risk injury in playing in this. It is what it is. Now, a lot of people are bringing up people that aren't even in this. I mean, Asia and Stewie are...
And just when you thought the drama couldn't get any more intense, the discussion sharply pivoted to another layer of intense controversy involving veteran guard Chelsea Gray. The suggestion of Caitlin Clark starting over a seasoned and respected player like Gray in a competitive Team USA setting struck a deep nerve with many who value Gray's established talent and hard-won experience. For some, the very idea was preposterous. One particularly bold fan put it bluntly, declaring, "There's not a world where I'm not starting Gray over Caitlin Clark, not a galaxy far, far away." This direct challenge to a seasoned player's standing highlighted a glaring generational divide in the fandom, sparking a furious debate about merit, experience, and the undeniable draw of new talent versus the reliability of proven longevity. It left many older, longtime fans feeling completely dismissed and disrespected by the new wave.
God. There's only one point, God, and she plays in Indiana. Stop it. And then you have the other thing, the do you want to grow women's basketball, the popularity of it or not? And Team USA, and do you want the ratings and all that other stuff? You know, and Caitlin Clark's obviously going to bring all of that, right? And you can't use this as an excuse. I mean, there was word out there that the committee, when they left her off the 2024 team, were scared to put her on the team because if she didn't play enough, they didn't want to have to hear about it. Well,
you see, this heated debate over Chelsea Gray wasn't just about two incredible players. It exposed a much deeper, more fundamental conflict brewing within women's basketball fandom. It became a clear battleground between what you could call the WNBA's old guard fans who are fiercely loyal to established stars and traditional playstyles, and the new wave, who are demanding fresh faces and a more dynamic, youth-driven energy. The speaker in the video minced no words, stating unequivocally that the old WNBA fans are getting voted off the island. This stark declaration powerfully underscored the rapid generational shift that's happening in the sport right now. A shift where new explosive talent is directly challenging long-held assumptions and in turn, sparking a fierce resistance from those who seem to be clinging desperately to the past.
The old WNBA old guard that's trying to desperately hold on. No, I mean, y'all, I don't know if you old WNBA fans understand this. Y'all are getting voted off the island. That's happening right now. Yeah. The actual real sports fans have shown up. Peace, you're out. So am I. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.
The timing of this controversial post was particularly dramatic, especially when you consider Caitlin Clark's recent injury woes, which added a whole other layer of complexity to the situation. She hadn't seen any competitive court action since suffering a groin injury back in mid-July, a setback that effectively ended her 2024 WNBA season. And that was followed by an unexpected ankle injury. Her expected participation in the Team USA training camp, scheduled for December 12th to 14th in Durham, North Carolina, now marks her highly anticipated return to a competitive setting, making this debate over her hypothetical starting spot even more volatile. Some questioned her immediate readiness, while her supporters saw her return as a triumphant, undeniable re-entry into the sport's highest echelons. The central question posed by the post, whether Clark should even start on this team, became an intensely divisive point. For many of her fans, this wasn't even a genuine debate. Clark's place as a starter was an absolute, undeniable given, considering the sheer talent and game-changing impact she brings to the court, even factoring in her recent injuries. Yet by framing it as a question, the post expertly ignited the very controversy it was designed to capture, fueling the flames of discussion and forcing fans to vigorously defend what they considered an undeniable truth, creating an artificial debate where they believed none should have existed in the first place. Caitlin Clark's proponents fiercely champion her as the game's best facilitator, an unmatched, dynamic offensive force who in their eyes should never ever play off-ball. Her unique ability to create plays, often likened to a star quarterback in the NFL, is seen as her most valuable asset. They point to her record for assists per game as irrefutable proof of her elite playmaking, arguing that benching her or diminishing her role would be a massive disservice to her talent and the team's overall potential. This unwavering belief in her on-ball dominance is what fuels the insistence that she must be a starter, unleashing her full creative potential right from the tip-off. Of course, one of the main criticisms leveled against Clark in this furious debate was her league-leading turnover rate. However, her staunchest defenders were incredibly quick to pivot, countering this point with an equally compelling statistic: her record-setting assist-per-game numbers. This dichotomy perfectly highlighted the double-edged sword of her high-usage, high-impact play stat. While yes, she takes risks that can lead to turnovers, she also consistently creates unparalleled offensive opportunities for her entire team. This specific point became a heated mini-battle within the broader argument, showcasing that even a perceived weakness could be spun as a necessary byproduct of her dynamic and groundbreaking playmaking ability. Then, adding another truly baffling layer to the controversy was the inclusion of Juju Watkins in the hypothetical team. This raised immediate and legitimate questions from fans, especially considering Watkins is still actively recovering from a severe ACL injury. People were asking, how can someone still rehabilitating from such a significant injury even be part of a competitive roster, let alone a starting five? While attending training camp might be feasible, the prospect of her actually taking the floor posed a serious risk of re-injury. This apparent oversight, or perhaps overly optimistic inclusion, further fueled skepticism about the post's validity and judgment, intensifying the debate and raising serious concerns about player welfare in the pursuit of online hype. The controversy wasn't solely about who was included either, it was also about the shocking omission. Many fans expressed genuine bafflement and frustration that established WNBA superstars like A'ja Wilson, Brianna Stewart, and particularly Kelsey Mitchell were completely absent from this Team USA discussion. Mitchell's exclusion in particular was deemed a fair damn question by observers, given her consistent high-level performance. These glaring absences from the hypothetical roster only amplified the accusations of rage bait and selective criteria, suggesting that the post deliberately overlooked deserving veterans to prioritize more contentious, headline-grabbing choices, leaving a significant portion of the fan base feeling completely overlooked. The debate even extended to Cameron Brink's role within the proposed lineup. While some people conceded that her spot on the broader Team USA roster might be acceptable, the idea of her being a starter was met with considerable skepticism and outright opposition. This highlighted the differing views on her current readiness and impact when compared to other potential front-court players. It wasn't an outright dismissal of her talent, but rather a careful consideration of her experience and development within a highly competitive international setting. Her inclusion in the starting five ignited yet another specific micro-controversy, proving that every single name on that hypothetical list was under intense scrutiny from fans and commentators alike. Even Angel Reese's presence on the Team USA roster became a point of contention for some. While the speaker in the video expressed no personal issues with her inclusion, acknowledging her improved game in certain areas over the last year, it was clear that not all fans shared that sentiment. There were still lingering questions and polarized opinions surrounding her readiness for international play. This just goes to show that regardless of how well a player performs, fan perception and existing narratives can heavily influence reactions to team selections, proving that no choice, no matter how justified, would escape the critical eye of the passionate and divided WNBA fanbase. A powerful underlying argument driving much of this chaotic debate was the grow the game narrative. Many contend that featuring Caitlin Clark prominently, especially as a starter, is absolutely essential for boosting ratings, drawing in new viewership, and maximizing the overall popularity of women's basketball. She is seen as an undeniable draw, a ratings magnet that Team USA should leverage without any hesitation. This perspective suggests that the committee's decisions shouldn't just be about pure basketball prowess, but also about strategic marketing and expanding the sport's reach, pushing the boundaries of traditional selection criteria in pursuit of a much larger audience. But perhaps the most shocking revelation hinted at a profound failure of leadership. Word surfaced that the committee responsible for the 2024 Olympic team had actually feared including Clark, specifically because they were worried about facing fan backlash if she didn't get to play enough minutes. This kind of fear-based decision-making was lambasted as a complete dereliction of duty. It suggests the committee prioritized avoiding public outcry over selecting the absolute best talent available, a staggering admission that completely undermines the integrity of the selection process and leaves fans questioning the true motivations behind past roster choices. This chilling insight exposed a startling level of insecurity from those in power. And let's be crystal clear, the speaker passionately argued that it is in fact the committee's mother-bleeping job to hear about fan dissatisfaction. Their duty is to put the best possible players on the court, and if fans don't like what they see, they have every right to voice their displeasure. This isn't about shying away from criticism, it's an inherent, unavoidable part of the job. The notion that the committee would avoid selecting a star like Clark purely out of a fear of public opinion is framed as a fundamental misunderstanding of their responsibility. True leadership means making the tough choices and standing by them, not capitulating to hypothetical outrage before the game even begins. Despite all the controversy, the speaker unequivocally states that Caitlin Clark absolutely needs to start at point guard for Team US. For them, there isn't even a question. It's an undeniable truth. The continued resistance, particularly from those championing Chelsea Gray, is seen as nothing more than a desperate attempt by the old guard of the WNBA to cling to relevance. They believe these older fans and traditionalists are rapidly getting voted off the island by a new wave of passionate sports fans who are demanding to see fresh, dynamic talent. This uncompromising stance highlights the immense generational shift underway, where past allegiances are being challenged by the undeniable force of new stardom. Ultimately, that Team USA social media post, whether it was a calculated piece of rage bait or not, has undeniably exposed a seismic shift in the landscape of women's basketball fandom. It's a clear signal that the old guard is being voted off the island, making way for a new era where real sports fans demand to see the most dynamic, popular talents like Caitlin Clark at the forefront. This wasn't just a debate about a hypothetical lineup, it was a powerful, visceral demonstration that the game is evolving, demanding fresh perspectives and a full embrace of its most electrifying star. The controversy itself is the proof. The future of women's basketball is now, and it's louder, more passionate, and more engaged than ever before.